We got him. That's the declaration from Utah's governor after a suspect accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk is taken into custody.
The FBI says the arrest happened some 33 hours after the assassination. Here's how it all unfolded. The suspect was identified as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. Robinson's father recognized his son from the photos released of the shooting suspect. He urged his son to turn himself in. Robinson initially said no, but changed his mind. He was taken into custody and later booked on murder charges. Investigators are now digging into his background and a possible motive for the shooting. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Haskell is live in Orem, Utah, with more on the details of the arrest. Josh?
Colleen and Giovanna, those here in Orem, Utah, they are relieved that Charlie Kirk's shooter is now in custody. But we are learning a lot about the 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. He is a resident of Washington County, Utah. For reference, that is near Zion National Park. That's a 4-hour drive from where we are at the scene of the shooting at Utah Valley University.
We got him.
Charlie Kirk's alleged shooter in custody, thanks to the help of his own father, who recognized Tyler Robinson in the photos posted by the FBI. Thursday night, Robinson's father called a youth pastor who is also a U.S. Marshals Task Force officer. The officer advised the suspect's father to have Robinson stay in place, and by 10 at night, Robinson was arrested.
Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had.
The investigation also revealed Robinson arrived at Utah Valley University at 8:29 the morning of Charlie Kirk's event, hours before it started. His vehicle observed on campus. Also, investigators say Robinson changed outfits while in Orem, Utah, and later messaged his roommate on the widely popular online platform Discord, asking him to retrieve the weapon used in the shooting. A former classmate of Robinson said they were stunned to hear he may have carried out the attack and never heard him express hate or malice towards others.
Utah is usually known as a safe state, but now I don't think that's going to be the connotation anymore, and it's pretty sad.
I absolutely believe that this is a watershed in American history, yes. The question is what kind of watershed? And that chapter remains to be written. Is this the end of a dark chapter in our history or the beginning of a darker chapter in our history?
Supporters of Charlie Kirk continue to come to UVU's campus to pay their respects and remember the conservative activist.
He had a really big influence on me, just being able to accept and be able to talk to people. I don't agree with him at all anymore, basically, but he still had a really big influence on the way that I kind of approach talking to people around politics.
Now, video appearing to show Tyler Robinson in the moments after the shooting show him walking with a limp. Law enforcement sources tell ABC News that rifle, he was hiding that rifle underneath his clothes, which they believe is why he had a limp.
All right. Peace and blessings. All praises due to the Most High. And there we see some information that has came out about the 22-year-old shooter of Charlie Kirk. They're calling it an assassination. I just say the guy was shot because, he wasn't a political figure. He wasn't a leader in my standing. So, people like Malcolm X and Martin Luther were assassinated. This guy was just shot. Now, what I find out about all the articles that I'm reading about Tyler, which I'm going to read some more to you from this article, but every article that you read is humanizing this person who premeditatedly killed a person in cold blood. They say he drove 4 hours, or he lived 4 hours away, so he had to plan. He had a lot of time to rethink this thing while going to this location. He actually changed clothes while he was there, either before or after the shooting, and also he texted his roommate to say, hey, come get this rifle that I just killed somebody with. And so All of those things point to a criminal, a thug, a monster. But none of these articles tout him. These articles that you're going to hear talks about how great he was, how he was very smart, or nobody ever suspected these things. Regardless of what he's been accused, charged, and on video doing, he's still touted as someone who attended the Church of Latter-day Saints, which everybody knows Utah is a great Mormon state. But many people don't realize the type of gang mentality that the Mormons have. I spoke to people in Utah who have been to Utah. They talk about the Mormons run the town. They run the state like it's very, like mob style gang oriented in the Mormon community there. Like they run everything. That's why you heard the Mormons talking about, look, we don't want Charlie Kirk here. We don't want him on our campus because, they disagreed with his views. Now, a lot of people, once again, are saying that this guy disagreed with his views. He called him a fascist. He called him, anti such and such. And he even had markings on the bullets and messages on the bullets that were unfired in that rifle. And so this 22-year-old Tyler, once again, he's not being painted. There's not a lot of verbiage that paints him in a negative light. Everything that I've heard about him is just spectacular. And so I'm wondering, when is that narrative going to come, when the act of what he did is actually being talked about? The severity, the horrific nature, the cold-blooded killingness of what he did is going to be focused upon, instead of him being a great kid, him walking around the neighborhood, playing with kids, going to Sunday school, all of those things. Once again, they're humanizing this cold-blooded killer in front of our faces. Now, here's another news story that talks a little bit about his background and how his father, who is being touted as a hero, for turning his son in, not for exposing his son to guns at an early age. And I'm going to show you some pictures as well that are circulating of, this young kid with big guns at an early age. But just look at this video, which is going to give you a little bit more about this guy, Tyler Robinson. Fair use. Used for literary and commentary purposes only.
Who was Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old Southwest Utah resident suspected of killing Charlie Kirk? Officials said bullets found with the alleged rifle used had messages written on them.
Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices bulges, capital OWO, what's this ? Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, !" Catch! Up arrow symbol, right arrow and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
Those messages appear to be part anti-fascist, part internet meme culture.
Congratulations, you have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University.
A video from Facebook shows Robinson receiving a scholarship to Utah State University. The Daily Mail reports he was a student at that school for 1 semester in 2021. He had no political party affiliation according to voter registration records and didn't vote in the last 2 elections. Officials said a family member said he became more political in recent years.
In that conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate.
Photos from his mother's now deleted Facebook show a family apparently enjoying time together. There's also an apparent Halloween photo from 2017 with Robinson in a Donald Trump costume. No motive has been identified. Robinson was in his 3rd year of an electrical apprenticeship program at Dixie Technical College in Southwest Utah, according to the state's school officials. Utah's governor said charging documents, which could have more information on the suspect, should come early next week. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
All right, and so there you see him in that particular video reading, very human, reading an acceptance letter for a scholarship. I think that scholarship was like $32,000. They said he scored real high on the ACT exam, scoring a 34 out of 36, which means he was in the top 1 percentile of, all who took the test, which means he was a very intelligent guy. Other things that I've watched talks about, how the gun that he used was able to be manipulated and fired by someone with a lot of practice. Now, as you see from those pictures, that he was very young holding a big gun. And here you see some of the pictures, the family pictures with him and them around guns. Here is another collage of all of the pictures of, the young man having fun with guns. 2017, this is the one with the big gun right here. And it looks like he has a rocket launcher right there. So this man or this boy and his family were very steeped in violence and violent behavior. I remember a couple of years ago, Ja Morant, the black basketball player, simply showed a gun on Instagram, and he was suspended for a whole year. And so, but this is considered American pastime, Second Amendment rights. And once again, they are humanizing this guy beyond measure. Just take a listen to some of these things that were said in this particular article. A former straight A student. It's not clear what changed in Robinson's life leading up to the shooting, but family members and friends said he had become more political and angry. He was politically active and outspoken about people's rights, in which I guess that's why he hated Charlie, because Charlie didn't really give a crap about people's rights. Thought both political sides were contributing to a country being in a worse place and not improving the world, but you still don't kill anybody, right? Let me see. Neighbors were largely tight-lipped about the family, but many spoke. With USA Today, focus on the family's faith. Once again, the Church of Latter-day Saints, who are known Mormons, which, a lot of people that I've talked to say that they are like a gang. The father, he talked to a minister. President Trump said the people who turned him in was a person of faith. Everybody seems to be a person of faith these days. They said Robinson confessed to them and implied he committed the act. His family and friends helped deliver him to the custody of law enforcement. Once again, just humanizing him. Some say he sent some messages on Discord, which is a platform like social media. He was a quiet, normal kid, no criminal history. He was registered to vote, though he lacks party affiliation. His parents are registered Republicans. 12 p.m., the Facebook page for Tyler Robinson's mother was filled with celebrations of her son's milestones and accomplishments. And that was just yesterday. Maybe she didn't know about this milestones. The page depicted a tight-knit family where Tyler was the oldest of 3 sons. Neighbors say that they were doing foot races down the street. They describe him as quiet, wearing costumes in 2017, scoring a high ACT score and received a $32,000 scholarship to the Utah University. Kristen, who had known the family for 6 years, said that she often watched the boys grow up and cross paths with the family at church and school events. He was very quiet and had just a few friends. I think he was more on the musical side, very smart. He graduated from Pine View High School, briefly attended Utah State, 3rd year in the electrical program. At the dinner table, before Kirk came to Utah Valley, Tyler Robinson talked in disparaging terms about the conservative activists. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family members also stated Kirk was full of hate and spread hate. And they go on to, once again, just humanize this cold-blooded killer. So evidently, I guess white people are not too mad at this person because they just redirected their hate towards black people, not showing empathy for a man who a lot of people said didn't believe in empathy. And so I don't know where all the hatred is absent towards this killer who killed a all-American white man, but there's just the focus on, Charlie and his memory and his legacy. I think they said he's going to be laid in state, at the White House and, all of these things. But, this guy who killed him, he is also being, hailed as some sort of hero. So which one do you guys want? You know what I'm saying? Y'all, yeah, I'm confused. Is this guy supposed to be denigrated as a killer or masked as some, smart kid who did the right thing? And is Charlie is going to be a bad guy, or is he going to be a martyr, or he's going to be a spreader of hate? I don't know. I'm confused. But once again, as somebody said earlier in an earlier post, I'm about to stay out of these white folks' business. That's what I'm gonna do. This thing has nothing to me to do with me. This is white on white crime. So, don't blame me for, not being too concerned about it. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments. Y'all see the number 919-587-7782. Thank y'all for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And as always, peace and blessings. Scripture says all things that are hidden shall be revealed, and those things done in secret shall be exposed on the mountaintop.
Let's go, Rich. Let's go. You watching Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. The propaganda grammar, don't believe none of it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing.
Negroes have listened to the trickery and the lies and the false promises of the white man now.